Good morning. Welcome to Up to the Minute. I'm Todd Duplantis. It is Wednesday, March the 5th. Good to have you with us on this Wednesday morning. My co-host, Dr. Alana Pagao, joining me from the Northwest College. Good to see you, Alana.
Good morning, Todd. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. A little crazy in the studio with some technical issues, but we made it on air. Didn't know if that was going to happen for a few moments, but we're on air and ready to go. The weather's changed once again. We've got some nice weather. They say could be for the next few days after the windstorm yesterday and the storms preceding that. Kind of a nice change.
Yeah, it turns out every Wednesday we talk about the weather because the weather is always so crazy in Houston. It changes day to day, if not hour to hour sometimes. But yeah, it's really nice to see the sun and a little bit of a warm up.
Yes. So get outside if you can today. Stay inside at least for the next half hour because we've got your HCC news and information. And thank you for watching us live on Facebook and YouTube. We're here just about every Monday through Fridays, live at 10 a.m. But Lana, they can also join us on our cable channel and in social media.
Yeah, we are live on the Houston Community College District Facebook page, not HCC, and YouTube. We're also on X, LinkedIn, and on HCCTV at noon, 5, and 10 p.m. Monday through Friday.
So, Lana, you're going to be talking with this next guest. It's Good Works Wednesday. We're honoring the survivors of the USS Houston, which is having a special memorial service. John Schwarz is the executive director of the USS Houston CA-30 Survivors Association, son of a shipmate survivor, Otto Schwarz. Good to have you with us, John. Thanks for being here this morning. I think your mic is muted still. Okay, we're going to get back to John. John, your mic is muted, so we're going to take a commercial break in a little while. And when we get back from that, just make sure we get your mic situation figured out. But we're looking forward to hearing from you very shortly. Right now, though, we're talking financial aid. It's registration's a big thing, but you need to have your funding in place. Financial aid deadlines are always approaching, and we've got Bianca Matlock, who's director of HCC's financial aid operations, with us this morning. Thanks for being here, Bianca.
Yes, thank you for having me.
So we're looking forward to hearing about financial aid notices, which are important to many students. But let's begin with what type of aid is available to pay for college.
Absolutely. So there's several different fund sources that we tap into. The biggest program that we have is going to be our Pell Grant program. That program is going to be based on FAFSA results. So of course, students will want to get their FAFSA application. For our students who are Texas residents, we also offer TEOG, which is another grant option. That's also available for our undocumented students as well. And that can be completed, or that could be received by completing the TASFA application. In addition, of course, to self-help aid like work study and student loans.
Now, I know for FAFSA, a lot of people simply wait till the last minute to sign up. Could be financial reasons, but really, I guess to get FAFSA, you want to sign up for that ahead of time. What are some of the deadlines that you need to make?
Absolutely. So students definitely want to allow time for processing the FAFSA application after submission. We'd like to at least have them completed 2 weeks prior to the start of the term to give them a fighting chance of having their aid applied and for them to be able to get their books and supplies. The great news is we accept the FAFSA, all year round. So there's never really a late period for applying for aid. There's more of just an ideal period for applying for aid.
What about the grants? I understand there are grants, so there are a limited supply of funds, right? So would you want to apply for those early to make sure you get your right amount that you need?
Absolutely. So some of our allocations like SCOG, TEOG are based on first come, first serve, and they're limited funds. However, the Pell Grant, as long as the student is entitled to Pell, we can award that at any time.
Well, that's good to know because it helps. I know, I worked at the Southwest College for a while before I came here to district, and it always seems that last weekend before registration, we'd have an open house where people could come in person, and it was packed because a lot of people were literally waiting to the last minute, maybe waiting on a paycheck or something.
Absolutely. And the thing is even if the student comes in last minute, we do our best to help the student out. If that means that we need to partner with the bursar's office to come up with a plan, a payment plan, or an opportunity for the student to still register, we're going to do the best that we can to ensure that that student's able to enroll.
And tell us about financial coaching that's available for our students. Is this a free service that's offered to them?
Yeah, actually it is. It's a free service for not just students, but staff as well. It allows a student to partner with a financial coach, talk about their financial goals. It could be anything from raising their credit to saving for a particular financial incident that's going to be coming up in the future. The financial coaches are also resources for community partnerships as well. So we do a lot of outside referrals. And then, of course, our Swoop to the Rescue program, which is an emergency assistance program for students, along with a new fund, which is our student parent fund, particularly for parenting students that could help with anything from childcare to food to supplies that are needed.
Now, are refunds a thing as well for students getting financial aids?
Yes, most definitely. Refunds are very important for students to be able to take care of their indirect costs, things that they incur while they're in school, but that aren't directly charged. And that is a weekly process that we send out refunds every Thursday.
How do the students get the refunds? Do they have to get receipts? How does that work?
So the student just has to have more money on their account than it costs to go to school. So as long as there's more money there on the account than their direct charges, then anything that's left over will be sent to the student through their refund preference.
What are SAP requirements?
So SAP is a federal requirement that we must run every semester. Students have to be meeting a 2.0 GPA. And they have to pass 67% of the courses that they take. So in simplest terms, if you take 12 hours, you need to pass 9 of them each semester.
Now, a lot of students may start off and have to quit their college career mid-semester for some reason or another, maybe financial means or the fact they have to work a lot more. What happens if a student withdraws? How does that affect their future aid?
Sure. So if a student withdraws prior to earning 60% of the time frame that they've been enrolled, then we have to do what's called a return to Title IV. And that means that there's just a simple calculation that we will do, and it will determine how much of the aid that the student earned while they were enrolled. Any aid that they have not earned would have to be returned to the Department of Education. And so when students are in that situation, it could also affect their SAP status, which is why we partner with students to ensure that they're completing their SAP materials in a timely manner so that way they can get re-enrolled and pick back up where they left off.
When a student applies for aid, if they're looking to see if they can get grants or maybe even scholarships, is this a one-stop shop or do they have to apply on several websites to get all the funding they can get? Because I know a lot of these scholarships and the grants, they don't have to pay back.
That's correct. So for most of our programs, it's a one-stop shop. Fill out the FAFSA application, have it sent to Houston Community College, and we will process it. However, we do have a partnership with HCC Foundation, and they have a scholarship opportunity with a separate application process that students can pursue as well.
I know in the past years, not necessarily at this college, but I went to college years ago, and I was always told there are some scholarships that each semester remain unawarded. Do you work with the foundation to make sure that we can get those scholarships to the students without letting them sit?
Yes, as best we can. In fact, the foundation has come up with a new fund to help students who may or may not have qualified for financial aid, but need that extra support. And we're doing a referral system. So as those students pop up, we refer them over to the foundation to try to help as many students have access to aid.
I know over the years here at HCC, there have been situations where students need emergency funds. Is the college able to assist with that in any way? I know at one time we were.
Yes, absolutely. So we have our Swoop to the Rescue program, which is partnering with a financial coach. They'll have that difficult conversation with the student to determine what the need is and how we can best meet the need. Usually the awards are averaged to about $500, and they can go for anything, honestly, from a flat tire, to childcare assistance, possibly getting students in a motel after leaving a domestic violence situation. And the great thing about this program is these funds bypass tuition and fees. So the student could essentially have a balance, be waiting on their financial aid, but we can route those funds directly to their refund preference to try to meet their needs.
Yeah, I mean, I know that's very important because I know I've talked to Charday, who you're very familiar with. She works with us here as well. And she told us about a story whose student, couldn't get to school, couldn't get to classes because she had a flat tire. So really, a couple $100 could go a long way with continuing students' college education.
Absolutely. And our number one goal is, of course, retention and completion. So those funds could be an opportunity to leverage a student and keep them enrolled. And that's always our first goal.
Bianca Matlock is the director of HCC's financial aid operations. We appreciate you joining us this morning.
Sure. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you for being here. We'll have all the information and pertinent links in our social media post after the show. All right, we are going to take a short break. When we come back, Lana's got a special guest coming your way. We're back in 60 seconds.
At Houston Community College, we make your lessons matter. Open the door to real-world education, where passions become careers. Find out more at hccs.edu and let your success take flight.
That one day at PE when they were yelling at me, and then you just linked arms with me. I don't think you know how much that helped me. I finally knew that I had somebody.
Welcome back. We're now moving on to John Schwarz, Executive Director of the USS Houston CA-30 Survivors Association. He is also the son of Shipmate survivor Otto Schwarz and our Good Works Wednesday guest. Welcome to the show, John.
Oh, thank you very much for this opportunity. It's a pleasure to be here.
Where are you calling us in from?
I am in a hotel in the Galleria area our group basically comes from all over the country. So I come here from Arlington, Virginia.
Oh, wonderful. Well, we want to hear all about your event, but first, let's get some background, starting with the story of the USS Houston. It was sunk in World War II and is called the Galloping Ghost of the Java Coast.
That's correct.
So how did it get to be called the USS Houston?
Well, it was named for the city, of course. The mayor at the time was Mr. Holcomb, and his daughter christened the ship. It was launched in 1929. It was FDR's favorite ship. And at the outbreak of the war, it was already working out of Manila, which is in the Asia West Pacific. Unfortunately, at that time, this ship had to serve under insurmountable odds. So she only lasted about 85 days into World War II before she was lost. She was sunk on March 1st, 1942. But the uniqueness of this ship is the very few men that were able to survive the sinking had to be, at that point, used and were kept as POWs for the balance of World War II, used for labor on the Burma-Thailand Death Railway. So they had a real rough going. That was about 3 75 years of incarceration as a POW under horrendous conditions.
Wow, that's fascinating. Tell us about the USS Houston Survivors Association, and we'll discuss the future generations in a bit.
Sure. My dad was one of 291 men from the ship that made it home when all was said and done and World War II ended. That's out of a crew of 1168 at the outbreak of the war. So understand that 3 out of every 4 men on that ship did not make it home. Those that did, the 291, were damaged physically, emotionally, spiritually. As a matter of fact, I would venture to bet most, if not all of them, had PTSD. The only thing is, at that time, we didn't even know what that was. So my dad came home, met my mom, best thing he ever did. And he kept lamenting to her about how I miss my brothers. Because you see, the shipmates that made it home and were on the ship were from all over the country. And they had developed such a bond that they were brothers. So finally, my mom stepped up one day and said, Otto, do something about it. So he contacted a few names that he had, and that contact continued. And about 260 of the 291 men were contacted, and thus began the USS Houston Survivors Association. And that was about in 1947.
And it took quite a while for your dad to find everyone, correct?
Several years, yes. And as a matter of fact, men were trickling in even years after that. But I would say by the 80s or maybe even the 70s, all of those that were contactable had been reached. And then they started to meet. And of course, as time went on, because this association, we added next generations because it was inevitable. As we know, our World War II heroes are leaving us. So thank goodness in our case, we had an ample number of next generations who have stepped up to maintain the mission of this particular organization. And on that note, I serve on the board of managers as executive director, and there are 5 of us. Four of us are sons or daughters of men that served on the ship. And then the 5th person on the board, her family were natives in Java, and her uncles were taken into incarceration by the Japanese and made to be POWs for simply being civilians on Java. So she's also on the board, and her uncles, again, were in the prison camps with our shipmates.
That history is just fascinating. Can you tell us about the monument for the USS Houston in downtown?
Yes, I'm happy to tell you about that. There's a beautiful 16-foot granite monument on top of which sits an original bell from the ship. And it's located in Sam Houston Park, which I know is a big park, but it is on the grounds of the Heritage Society on Bagby Street, about 2 blocks from City Hall. Now, this monument was put together by the USS Houston Foundation, which was comprised of men from the Naval Order of the United States, Texas Commandery. So we're very proud to work with them to have a memorial service each year at that monument.
So there's a phrase, they're all gone, and it's about the last man standing. Can you tell us the significance of that phrase?
Yeah. Again, 291 men came home very, very tarnished. And through the years, we were losing them. And just this past year, we lost our last living survivor from the USS Houston CA-30, a gentleman by the name of Robert Hanley, who, believe it or not, lived to be 102. And this was a man who also experienced 13 months working on the Burma-Thailand Death Railway, which, by the way, was somewhat depicted in the famous war movie Bridge on the River Kwai.
Wow. So earlier, you told us you're in Houston for the memorial service, right? What can you tell us about this memorial service?
Okay, this coming Saturday, we will conduct our 30th consecutive memorial service at the monument at the Heritage Society on Bagby Street. And this started March of 1996, following the unveiling of the monument, which occurred in November of 1995. This is a service that's open to the public. We welcome anyone that wants to come and honor the legacy of these brave servicemen. And it's a wonderful ceremony. It honors them and the men of the 131st Lost Battalion, which also were POWs with our men that came out of Texas. And it's a full-blown service. We have a band. And by the way, pray for good weather, please, because it's an outdoor event. And we're, of course, on pins and needles every year. But we welcome anyone that would like to come and honor the men of the Houston.
Great. Such important history. Well, thank you, John Schwarz, Executive Director of the USS Houston CA-30 Survivors Association, son of shipmate and survivor Otto Schwarz, and our Good Works Wednesday guest. And we will have your information in our post after the show.
Thank you so much.
And coming up after a quick commercial break, Todd and I will return with some news and announcements.
At Houston Community College, we make your lessons matter. Open the door to real-world education, where passions become careers. Find out more at hccs.edu and let your success take flight.
If you love them enough to crawl into a play place to get them to come down, then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Today I'm going to talk to you about physics. Come on in, girls. Let's go. This is the first rocket to get humans to Mars.
It's really tall.
I'm a rocket structural engineer, designing and building parts of the rocket. You are the generation that will be stepping foot on Mars. Do I have a group of astronauts on my hands?
Yes.
You can become a rocket scientist or whatever else you want to be.
Welcome back to Up to the Minute. I'm Todd Duplantis, and we have some announcements for you this Wednesday morning. One of them happening 2 weeks from today. And Lana, I think it's happening out at your Katy campus.
Yeah, it's the HCC Alumni Association's professional development series called HCC Classroom to Career Success Series. Ooh, that's a mouthful, which will begin after our spring break with focus on the future speed interviewing for success. It will help students master the art of interviewing in a low-pressure environment with real-time feedback. And that will be Wednesday, March 19th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Katy campus. Registration is encouraged, so check out our post after the show for more information.
HCC Southeast is celebrating Women's History Month with book club discussions about Incessant Beauty, a bilingual anthology. Join the group noon to 1 p.m. Mondays, March 17th, 24th, and 31st. It's at HCC Southeast Student Life Media Room. We'll have more information in our post. And you guys are busy. You've got another Northwest attraction, this time an arts exhibition, Lana.
Yeah, Louis Sandoval, who was born in Caracas, is the artist who moved to the U.S. in the 80s to pursue his passion for art. His work reflects the principles of the abstract, including the not knowing state of mind. The artist reception is 5 p.m. Wednesday, March 19th at the HCC Spring Branch Main Gallery. And the exhibit runs through April 4th, so you can check out our post after the show for more information.
HCC's Creative Writing Club has an event coming up. The club, which meets every Tuesday, is an organization dedicated to understanding and practicing the art in its many forms. It has also extended its deadline to enter Vocable, the Journal of Writing and Art. The meetings are held 2 to 3 p.m. Tuesdays at the Katy campus, West Houston Institute, Learning Commons, and on Teams. The Vocable's extension is on March 24th. Check our post after the show for more information. And there's a youth and teen symposium coming up as well.
Yeah, it's called Learning Next Steps. Navigating life after high school can be confusing, so HCC, in partnership with the City of Houston, HISD, and Fort Bend ISD, is hosting a free youth and teen symposium for youth, teens, and parents to explore careers and prepare for college. And that is 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Saturday, April 5th at HCC Coleman campus. Lunch will be provided, so check out our post after the show.
Okay, next week we won't be here. We'll be back March 17th because spring break is next week. We have no classes. Therefore, we will not be on the air. We'll all be taking our spring break. Next Up to the Minute airs Monday to Friday, March 10th through, or no Up to the Minute rather, March 10th through the 14th. We'll return to the air March 17th, which is also back to classes on that day. And it's also St. Patrick's Day, so make sure you wear your green. Summer registration, hard to believe, Lana, is already here.
That's right. It's time to make the most of your summer by locking in your classes now to stay on track with your goals. HCC classes are still offered in a variety of programs, semester lengths, and range of modalities. So learn more about our programs, start dates, and options to cover costs at hccs.edu/apply.
Okay, tomorrow on the show, Felicia Brooks of the HCC Foundation are here to talk about their scholarship luncheon and more. And Thursday, Family Fun Day, the Lone Star Flight Museum will discuss your spring break programs where fun takes flight. So looking for some ideas, they'll have them for you tomorrow. Lana, I guess I'll see you in 2 weeks.
Yeah, enjoy your spring break.
Same to you. And all of you have a great day today. Get out, enjoy the weather. We'll be back tomorrow live at 10 a.m.